Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. So some of the teething problems are the preliminary issues, who knows? But the national conference, that's what we're focusing on today on Sunrise Daily. We're joined now by Professor Oyelowo Oyewo, who is a former Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. Thank you for coming on this morning, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Well, listening to them at that conference, all wonders, are there supposed to be teething problems, preliminary or something? Look, if we're not careful, this may just take most of the time of the conference, and who knows, it may even just go in and just bother on or even affect the core issues. How do you see that playing out?
Well, this is something that should have been anticipated. With the number of people that have been invited for the conference, the ground rules, at least there should have been some basic draft ground rules.
I mean, before
so they could have been handed over to them. And a technical committee could have come up with ground rules. This is not the first time we're having a conference like this. So the rules of engagement are quite, known. And these could have been presented to them instead of breaking and coming back and causing all this uproar. But beyond this, these are just preliminary issues. The moment they go into committees and they have to discuss substantive issues, I think they'll be more engaged with the substance than all these,
But they also had issues about how their chairman will be chosen.
Yes.
They kicked against the chairman choosing the chairman for the committees. Let the members choose their chairman.
I think the normal procedure or the rules for committees is to allow the members to choose their own chairman.
Okay. But at the end of the day, if they had drafted all of those things, if the technical committee had done its job, wouldn't you see a situation where maybe they then present it to the conference and then somebody says, no, why are they trying to teleguide us? Why would you decide this for us before the day?
But that's exactly what happened. And it says that they came, they found out that there were no rules, they went away, the technical committee drafted it and presented it to them. So why couldn't they have drafted it before they are coming, then present it to them first day, and then you continue with your business?
So it won't bother on integrity or...
Yeah, no, I don't think it will. These are ground rules that, will guide the proceedings of the committee, and they will have the opportunity of commenting on them.
There are some people who are bothered. Before this conference started, there were issues about legality. There's no legal framework. Legal issues about nomenclature. Is it national conference? Is it national confab? The issues about the sovereignty. Would it go to referendum or not? Now, when it now commences, we have these teething problems. Now, some people are worried that at the end of it, it will just end up being a back and forth between the different groups that are represented there. Are you in the same thought?
I think you've touched on a very important issue as to the origins, what brought about this. Sincerely, if you look at the 1999 Constitution, Decree number 24 of 1999 that brought it into effect says it's a necessary amendment of the 1979 Constitution. And then you ask yourself, what happened between 1979 and 1999? Did we not have constitutional, constitution-making processes? We did. We had the 1989 Constitution draft. We had the 1995 Constitution. And then, of course, subsequently, we had. So what has happened is that people felt that there was a big gap in the national development that has taken place and the constitutional document that constitutes the basis. And that's what led to the agitation for the Sovereign National Conference. Of course, initially, there's two schools of thought. One, that sovereignty inheres in the National Assembly. So you cannot be talking about Sovereign National Conference when we have the sovereign representative of the people constituted in the National Assembly. But the stridency of the demands and the reality of the problem, the national question unresolved, brought about the, protagonists for the Sovereign National Conference to continue. And of course, the president now has brought a middle ground between those saying that the National Assembly have the sovereignty and those crying, and we are calling this conference. And if you look at the conference inauguration speech presented by the president, he has presented a kind of a middle ground in the sense that even his reference to referendum, we do not have constitutional provision now in the 1999 for referendum. So he predicates the referendum upon the ongoing process. Don't forget, there is an ongoing process by the National Assembly, initiated by the executive for constitutional amendment. And this is going on between the House of Rep and the Senate. And it says, when this concludes, we will have provisions for referendum.
Wait, do we have provisions for referendum as it's going on, or we have to wait until this concludes?
That is what you have to read between the statement of the president. He urges the National Assembly to quickly pass this amendment. It's there in the
So
speech.
that it can help whatever
So
the outcome
that
is.
there will be a window for referendum.
But is there any guarantee?
Well, in life, you can't guarantee.
because I think we've overstayed on that particular matter when we talk about amendments or having a brand new constitution, whatever we actually wanted. Till now, we still haven't actually seen any kind of progress. So if we're slowing that, let's say, and we have this back and forth discussion, preliminary talks in the conference, don't you think that 3 months is too short a time for them?
Definitely, because like to connect to what he raised, there will be the legal issues. What will be the constitutional framework within which to bring into effect whatever constitutes the proceeds or the outcome of the national conference? We still have the 1999 Constitution. So basically, that is why realistically the president has referred to the ongoing process to acknowledge that there is an ongoing process. And that ongoing process has reached a stage where the House of Rep and the Senate are harmonizing. And don't forget, the House of Rep did wide consultation. You know, everybody's attention was on that until this Sovereign National Conference came along. And it seems from the speech of the president, he anticipates that whatever is the outcome of this national conference, it's not going to be the business of this particular administration. Yes, if you listen to what he said. It's not going to be the business of, but it will guide.
Even if they have another 4 years.
Well, if they have another 4 years, you are talking, what is the possibility? There could be a regime change. So basically, if you are preparing something that you don't anticipate to finish during your own time, then of course, why are you engaging Nigerians on something that you are not going to bring to conclusion?
Let me attempt to hypothesize. For instance, now, if, because the way politicians think, they're eternal optimists. They don't ever think anything could go wrong, especially if they have to do with the second term. Yeah. So on the basis of that, assuming without conceding that he's thinking, okay, well, I already have this 4 years, and then he makes that statement, shouldn't we be thinking, well, if he says it's not going to be in this administration, there's a big problem there. Some people will think, are you actually telling us that you don't intend to see this through until 4 or 5 years after?
Well, but you see, the question you want to ask yourself, why promise something that you yourself cannot deliver? Yeah. We've had 4 years. This constitutional amendment process, this debate about having national conference has been on for quite some time. Why did you wait till the very end of your tenure and then you hold for this hope, which you know that there are constitutional legal hurdles that have to be, resolved. So basically, it means that unless the House of Rep and the Senate are able to push through the ongoing constitutional amendment that will bring about the amendment and alteration of the Constitution to allow for all the things you are talking about, then the outcome of the national conference will be in limbo, or the people will have to resort to using whatever sovereign will that they have, like they did in the Constituent Assembly, and promulgate the constitutional amendments into law. But what will be the effect of that?